Howdy folks, it's the third week of October 2025, and welcome to This Week in the West. I'm Seth Spillman, broadcasting from the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. On this podcast, we share stories of the people and events that shape the history, art, and culture of the American West, and those still shaping it today. Picture this: Theodore Roosevelt, Rough Rider, future president, and one of the original inductees into our Hall of Great Westerners, is visiting the Mulhall Ranch in Oklahoma Territory. As the story goes, Roosevelt was talking about wolves and wondered what it would take to rope one. He turned to a slight young woman and, half in jest, told her that if she could rope a wolf, he'd see her in his inaugural parade. Legend has it that just a few hours later, that young woman rode back dragging a wolf behind her horse. The story stuck, and the legend of Lucille Mulhall was born. We remember her this week, the week of her birth, October 21st, 1885. Lucille was born in St. Louis, but 4 years later, the Mulhalls joined the 1889 Oklahoma Land Run, staking a claim in the north-central part of the territory near what is now the town that bears their name, Mulhall, Oklahoma. The Mulhall Ranch started as a ranch, but quickly became much more. Lucille's father, Zach Mulhall, was a showman. He produced Wild West and rodeo exhibitions, which he called the Mulhall Congress of Rough Riders and Ropers. Lucille was soon part of the act. By the time she was a teenager, she was a featured trick rider, performing in front of large crowds at home and at the famed 101 Ranch in Ponca City, Oklahoma. One of the draws for Mulhall's shows was pitting his daughter against male competitors. According to reports, Lucille's father once bet $10,000 that his 15-year-old daughter could outrope any cowboy in El Paso, Texas. And she did. Some accounts say she beat the men handily, though her success was met with hostility. One story claims her brother had to rescue her from angry cowboys who were embarrassed by being bested by a teenage girl. Will Rogers, who performed with Lucille at the 101 Ranch shows, is remembered saying Lucille was the direct start of what has come to be known as the Cowgirl. In fact, after winning one competition after another, Lucille came to embody and even define the very idea of a cowgirl in the public imagination. Roosevelt himself is said to have crowned her the very first cowgirl. From then on, the titles came fast and bold: Rodeo Queen, Queen of the Western Prairie, Champion Lady Steer Roper of the World, each one another notch in her legend. After she appeared in President William McKinley's 1901 inaugural parade, she became a show headliner across the country and even overseas. In 1912, she was invited to participate in the very first Calgary Stampede and finished second in an event called Cowgirl's Fancy Roping. According to a newspaper report, Lucille won repeated applause by her graceful and smooth handling of the twirling loop. In 1913, Lucille formed her own traveling troupe of performers. By 1916, she was producing her own rodeo, Lucille Mulhall's Roundup, cementing her reputation as both a performer and a businesswoman. Her travels across the country and her time on the vaudeville circuit offered Lucille a level of independence few women knew in the early 1900s. She later recalled, "People were getting $3 a week for housework or for working in a store. You could get $25 a week working for a Wild West show." Outside the arena, Lucille's life was complex. In 1908, she married Martin Van Bergen, a cowboy singer who sometimes opened her shows. The marriage was brief, but it did produce a son. Later, she wed Tom Burnett, son of legendary Texas rancher Burke Burnett, founder of the 4 Sixes Ranch. That union lasted 3 years. She kept performing and competing until 1922 when she retired to the family ranch in Mulhall. Historian Tracy Handschuh once wrote, "Lucille roped, snubbed broncos, and hazed for bulldoggers, but it was her direct competition, roping against the men, that set her apart and earned her the most respect." Lucille died tragically in a car accident in Logan County, Oklahoma, on December 21st, 1940, less than a mile from her family's ranch. In 1975, she was inducted into our National Rodeo Hall of Fame here at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. 2 years later, she was honored at the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame. And with that, we've looped another episode of This Week in the West. Our show's produced by Chase Spivey and written by Mike Kaler. Follow us and rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you hear us. That'll help us reach more people. You can follow us on social media and online at thecowboy.org. Got a question or a suggestion? Drop us an email at podcast@thecowboy.org. We leave you today with the words of Lucille Mulhall herself, telling a newspaper reporter in 1907 how she recovered from a riding accident when she was a teenager. "Some people thought I'd never ride again, but they failed to properly estimate the kind of material that constitutes the makeup of a girl reared on a great ranch of the boundless West." Much obliged for listening, and remember, come find your West here at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum.